Now then, folks, how you doing? It's James, JT at the movies, and I'm finally back with you for another in-person DVD and Blu-ray update. It's been a while since I've shot one of these, but it's high time I got back to it. So I am really sorry that I didn't shoot one for everything that I sort of picked up in my hiatus, and obviously I gave you the little slideshow. I wanted to keep up to everything so that when I filed things away, I didn't sort of not have the complete diary of everything that I've been picking up. So I took pictures and I put them on my Instagram, and I thought I was just going to leave it at that. And then I thought, no, it's an incomplete journey then on the YouTube channel. But I didn't want to start going and getting everything off the shelf and talking about it and then having to file it all away again and stuff. It just sort of doubles the work. So I got the pictures off my phone, put it to the little slideshow that you saw that I put out last week, and it just kind of plugs the gap. So I'm not going to make the videos like that going forward. I really enjoy talking about the releases and the films and engaging with you and just talking the hind legs off a donkey, as my granddad would like to say. But there we are. So we'll dive in as we always do with some DVDs. So the first one that I picked up, I literally just picked up this morning, and it is Jean-Claude Van Damme in Derailed. So it looks like a Die Hard on a Train type job. I like Jean-Claude Van Damme in pretty much anything that he's in. He's in that sort of, Arnie Stallone, to an extent, Steven Seagal sort of, 90s action hero where it's cheesy and, every film's the same. And yeah. So I've never seen this before. The premise sold me. It was £1.50. I fancy cheering myself up. I've had a rough couple of days, if I'm honest, as a filming this. Nothing you guys need to worry about. But just where life sort of just comes and kicks you while you're down, sort of thing. So bless her, we had a bit of time to kill this morning before picking Alex up from nursery. Laura says, "Why don't we park up here? Go and have a wander around CEX, see if there's out that you fancy." I love that woman. But yeah, so I picked up that and a couple of others as well that I'll show you. The next one I also picked up. Now, if you want to know my thoughts on this, go back to the very first ever movie night vlog that I shot with Lyndon. He brought this from his collection, and it was a film I'd never heard of before, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was cheesy, it was scary, it was engaging, it was just a right laugh. Had the best time with it, and I've been on the lookout for it ever since, but haven't come across it anywhere. And then, as if was meant to be today, Laura says, "Get yourself into CEX, go and buy yourself some films, and cheer yourself up." And this was staring at me when I came through the door, and it is day gone. Really, really, really happy to have that in my collection now. It's not often that I'll see something and then if I enjoy it, I'll pick it up. So it's not often that I watch something, enjoy it, and then don't then have the physical copy to back it up where there is one. This one I picked up because in June last month it was my birthday. I got a bit of birthday money from my family. Very, very grateful to everybody who give me a few quid to treat myself with. I ended up having to spend most of my birthday money on household essentials and emergencies that we had surrounding problems and whatever else that life throws at you and stuff. But I managed to hold back a few quid to treat myself to a couple of little bits and bobs anyway. So grateful that I did with that. But this is a supposedly, as I understand it at least, a time travel thriller. I got it recommended through a channel on TikTok. I was intrigued. I understand that it's in Spanish, but that doesn't bother me. It's time crimes. This next one I'll talk more about when I come to do the film vlog for June. But it's another time travel movie. Or is it time travel? Time travel is at the centre of it, but it's more of a sort of a, I don't even want to say coming of age story, but it's a comedy really about these guys work for a magazine and they go and investigate this guy who's put an ad in the magazine looking for somebody to travel back in time with him. So they think that they're just doing a story on a guy who's really got mental health problems, and they're kind of going to exploit him. And then they realize that there's maybe more to the story than they think, and the actual time travel itself doesn't really play any sort of relevance to the plot. But the characters and the story, that they all go on, I found really engaging and really sweet. But that is safety not guaranteed, and I would recommend watching this if you've not seen it. Aubrey Plaza and Jake Johnson, who folks will know from New Girl, and the god awful 2017 The Mummy. As well, he was one of the best bits in it. They're really great in that, so I right enjoyed it. Really, really happy that I've seen that. I might have shown you this one in the slideshow, but I can't remember. It's in the pile of ones to show you, so I'm going to show you it again. And if you've already seen it, don't worry, I haven't bought it twice, but it is The Wolfman, the remake from this year, the reimagining. This got absolutely slated, and I can't see why. Yeah, I'd be interested to get somebody's opinion on that. I liked the performances. I liked the characters. It did exactly what I expected a Wolfman movie to do, and yeah, it's another version of the Wolfman. I don't know what more I can say about it than that. It was obvious right from the get go that one of the main characters was going to become the Wolfman. Um, and it was obvious who the original Wolfman was, given the sort of the I call it the pre-title sequence, like James Bond, but you know what I mean. The opening of the film, it was obvious who the Wolfman was then gonna have been, and it was obvious how it was going to end, and that the cycle had to be broken somehow for it to be a I wouldn't call it a happy ending, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Been waiting for this one to drop in price. It's one that I fancied watching, but was not about to pay. I think HMV had this on at $16.99 for the Blu-ray because it was an exclusive, and like $11.99 for the DVD, and I wasn't paying that for it. But it was in the sale, and it is Challengers. Really enjoyed this next one as well, and I'll talk about it again more when I get round to doing the Watch series. But it's The Monkey, based on a Stephen King story, and this monkey basically kills people when you activate it, but not by actually killing them, but sort of it twists and turns fate so that things happen to them and they die. And these two brothers, these two twins, are sort of like the you know, inadvertent custodians of it, and one goes down one path in life to try and distance himself from it, and another goes down another, and they end up having to reconvene, sort of, in their 30s or 40s or whatever the character's supposed to be, to try and finally deal with it once and for all, sort of thing. It was funny, it was scary, it was gory. Had a great time. Recommended. This next one I picked up because it's Kihai Kwan. I haven't seen it, but the premise, the people who made it, and the cast sold me on it. It's Love Her. It's got this with some birthday money as well. This one might not necessarily seem like the type of film that I'd watch, but it's one that I've seen clips of on TikTok, and it's intrigued me enough that I fancied giving it a go. Bring It On. I picked this one up in a charity shop when we were on holiday in Wales in June. Do you know, I wish I'd actually have filmed it, but I wasn't really thinking vlogs at the time. I was thinking unwind and decompress. But they had a selection of movies in this charity shop in Aberystwyth that almost rivaled the collection in this room. I'm not kidding when I say that they had like a wall of DVDs here, and they had a stack of Blu-rays there, and whatever else. And I went through it, and I either wasn't interested or had most of it. So basically it was this collection in a charity shop in Wales. But the only one that I ended up picking up was the Crocodile Dundee double feature. I only needed number two. I still need to get number three. But obviously I have the first one. But I figure in a space saving measure, I had to really think about saying that then to not trip over my tongue. I can get this, and then I've got the one case on the shelf rather than two. The next one I picked up is a horror movie from this year that I've heard good things about. The tagline says a new horror classic arrives, and that seems to be the consensus online with the critics' scores and all that sort of good stuff. But it is Heart Eyes. Bought this with some birthday money as well. Looking forward to watching it. And then the next one that I've picked up is Fear Below. You know me, you know shark movies. The shittier the better. I hope it's so cheesy. I hope it's gory. It's going to be awful, I'm sure, but I'll love every second of it. Let me just readjust my stack so that I can do this without making disaster. The next one that I picked up, well, actually, I think the next five that I picked up were in a 5 for a quid deal at our local Sue Ryder charity shop. So I can't remember which of the stack was the one that I actually wanted. It was the last one. There we go. So I ended up looking through to see if there were any others that I fancied taking a punt on. So this was the first one I picked to take a punt on, and really picked it up because it's Cuba Gooding Jr. and James Woods. The film's Endgame. It looks to be some sort of action thriller. With all of these, except for the one that I actually wanted to buy, I'm going to decase them and put them in the plastic wallets so that they're not taking up shelf space. This one, actually, saying that, I'm changing my mind as I go. I'm going to keep this one because it's got a pretty good slipcover. I'd seen this one on streaming a few times. My sister introduced this film to me, and it's hilarious. It's not anything that's going to sort of set the world on fire. But if you want a comedy film that's just easygoing and an enjoyable, likable cast, no, no wrong with this at all. Mike and Dave need wedding dates. They're two, brothers that are players, haven't really settled down. Their sister's getting married, and their mum and dad sort of set them the ultimatum that they can't just bring any old, lass to the wedding. They need to bring some really nice, respectable girls to the wedding. And then these two girls are con artists, and they're just after a free holiday to Hawaii and decide that they're going to go and, sort of play the game of the nice girls. But none of the four of them can keep the charade up. And of course, it buggers up the wedding. So then it's the journey to salvage the wedding then. So the next two I picked up, I haven't seen these since I was a kid. I thought I had them in the collection, but a quick check of my app where I'm cataloging everything showed that I didn't. And it helped me obviously fill out the five for a quid because I'd have paid a quid for the one title. So I figured, well, might as well see if there's anything else I want to revisit. And it is Meet the Parents and Meet the Fockers. So at some point, and I'm not desperate for it, but I will pick up Little Fockers. I've seen Meet the Parents loads, but I rewatched Meet the Fockers the other night, enjoyed it, had a nice time with it. And then the one I actually wanted to pick up, and the last DVD to show you, is John Cusack in Money for Nothing. The cast and the premise are what sold me on this, so I look forward to watching it. Looks like it's an 80s cheesy one. I tell a lie, folks. I had one last DVD to show you. It was one that I picked up this morning as well, so I should have realised that I hadn't shown it yet. I thought I had this film until I went looking for it to watch it the other day in preparation for James Gunn's new Superman movie coming out next week. I wanted to revisit something Superman related and thought that I had this film, and like I say, went to the shelf, don't have it. So I was quite happy to pick up today from CEX for £1.50 Superman Doomsday. So we'll now dive into some Blu-rays as we normally do. So the first one I picked up was Sorority Row. We watched this on DVD either earlier this year or late last year, and I really enjoyed it. It's cheesy. It's just a naughty slasher. I've not seen the original to be fair, but I imagine it's nowhere near as good as the original. But I enjoyed it, and for £2, I was happy to upgrade it. This next one, I had a great time with, a really, really great time with. It's a spy thriller, an espionage thriller, and it feels more like something that John le Carre would write rather than a Fleming-esque or any on production sort of Bond, or Mission Impossible type thing. It feels more grounded in realism. Anyway, it's Black Bag. Great ensemble cast, really great plot. Didn't know who to trust the whole way through. That the film sort of tells you not to trust somebody, so you think, well, they're probably going to be all right, but then, you sort of think, right, okay, but who of the rest of this cast of characters can I put my trust in? And I right enjoyed it. I really right enjoyed it. The next one is a classic. It's cheesy, it's crap, but I love it. I wasn't about to spend 33 quid buying the 4K media book, whatever. So I just went for the standard German Blu-ray because we haven't over here. We've only got the 4K that's come out, but the Germans and I believe the rest of the Europeans have got the Blu-ray of it, if I could speak today. It's one that I've been wanting to upgrade to Blu-ray for a long time. So when I first sort of started watching YouTube, never mind recording it, one of the people that I used to watch religiously, and arguably one of the biggest inspirations of this channel, was a guy called The Flick Pick, and he used to talk about Over the Top all the time, used to watch it. And I tracked down the DVD. I remember coming across the DVD in like a sale section in HMV. 10, 12, maybe even 15 years ago at this point, and it'd been an awful copy of a DVD, and it's one of those where it's a bit like the best DVD. It's in the middle of the screen and grainy as all hell, and just yeah, just not really worth it. But it's the only copy I've had for ages, and so when I saw that they were reissuing that, I was like, yeah, I'll have that. So I'm looking forward to revisiting that one soon. The next one I picked up, I picked it up really because I'm a completist when it comes to certain franchises and certain actors, and obviously this being an MCU film and a Harrison Ford film, I wanted to pick it up. I enjoyed it without loving it. It's kind of a shame that Harrison Ford's, put his name to this, and it could be one of the last films that he makes, given that he's 80 years old, 83 years old at this point, actually. And yeah, but there we are. This next one I picked up. It's an import from America because I missed it over here when it came out. Because at the time I thought I don't want to collect these steelbooks. I'm not bothered. And then I got the Obi-Wan one and the Ahsoka one and the Mandalorian ones, and realised actually I do want them. So I imported from America Andor the first season. So this is the Blu-ray steelbook rather than the 4K steelbook, but it's fine. It's absolutely fine. I've got it, so I'm happy with that. But the next one I want to show you is Last Breath. Now, I liked this film without loving it. It was good. I would rewatch it again. It was a birthday present from Laura, one that I was excited to see, but we missed in the cinema due to obviously having a baba. But I didn't realise it was a true story, and it's actually remade by the people that made a documentary about this, this situation happening a few years ago, sort of thing, and they decided to turn it into a film. And I expected more of it because I didn't realize it was true. And then obviously all the title cards come up at the end, and you realize, and I was like, right, okay, so that's why they didn't embellish it then, because it's a fairly true to life experience sort of thing. But yeah, it's the story of a guy that gets stuck underwater while he's working on a bit of piping or an oil rig or something like that, and then the rescue mission for him. But it's one of those where if it had been if it had been a fictional story, it would have what I mean? It would have had more sort of Hollywood about it. And I think that's kind of what I went into it expecting. Laura also, I didn't get it for my birthday because my birthday's the beginning of June, but this came out last week, but she pre-ordered for my birthday A Fish Called Wanda. This is one of my favourite comedies. I've been after this on Blu-ray for ages. I wasn't prepared to pay the stupid money, that second-hand sellers were wanting for either the Arrow release or the first wave of Blu-rays, but Final Cut popped this out. I adore it. I can't wait to revisit this. Interestingly enough, though, Laura is a massive Monty Python fan, and obviously this has Palin and Cleese in it, and I think there might be a cameo from Eric Idle. I know I'm confusing that with European Vacation. Ignore me. And I'm going to leave that in for you as well so you can see the thought process and how these videos get made. But when we first started going out 10 years ago, I showed this to her, and she's a Monty Python nut, and I was like, she's never seen it, and I was expecting to have her bowled over with laughter. She hated this, absolutely hated it. She said she'll give it another go for me when we watch this Blu-ray, though. But I was so wounded because I'm like, no, how could she hate it? It's hilarious. But there we go. The next one's a box set. I loved the new one that came out in May. The Blu-ray of that's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks, actually, at the end of July. So I'm looking forward to picking it up. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going to upgrade my DVDs and get the box set. So it's the Final Destination collection. I imported it from Germany because the UK one's out of print. And again, much like the commentary with The Fish Called Wanda, I'm not paying silly prices, but they still have this in new stock in Germany, and it was 17 quid from Amazon for all 5 of the so far released films, which is great. And then the last one to show you is a Blu-ray that my sister got me for my birthday. Again, missed it in the cinema because being a new dad and also being a working musician as well as working 40 hours a week in a day job means that I don't have an awful lot of free time to go to the cinema these days, which is a shame. So Sophie got me Mickey 17, which is Bong Joon-ho's follow-up film to Parasite. Obviously, not the sequel, but the film he made next. I enjoyed it, and I don't know whether it was just because that Parasite was just like up here in terms of quality that I went in with my expectations like at the ceiling. But I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. But I can absolutely appreciate that it's a really well made film, really well acted, visually stunning. It's funny, it's action packed, it's got all sorts going for it. There's emotion, there's heart to it. It's well made, but I didn't love it, which is a shame. But I'll definitely rewatch it. I think films like that for me. If I come out of something and I haven't absolutely hated its absolute guts, then I always try and give things a second watch because I'm a firm believer in like your frame of mind at the time and where and how you watch something. Like if you're not watching it in your comfortable settings at home, if you're watching it, maybe at somebody's house or if you're watching it at the cinema but you've got a bad audience, or I'm a firm believer in giving stuff a second chance. And then if I don't like it, then well, maybe it's time to trade it in or whatever else. But yeah, looking forward to revisiting that. But that is everything that I've picked up in May and in June of 2025. I'm glad to be back to making these videos. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, as I'm saying in all my videos. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel and you enjoyed today's video, if I could speak, please do hit that subscribe button. It really does mean the world. Obviously, it helps the channel, as I say, but means that I get to know you better over future videos as well. Speaking of getting to know everybody better, get involved in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on any of the films that I've picked up, any of the ones that I've not seen. Are there any ones that I should be getting to sooner rather than later? Or what are your thoughts on what I've picked up if you've seen some of them? Anything that you want to talk about film related, I love to chat about in those comments. I'm obviously incredibly busy at the moment, as I've said, with work and with life and whatever else. But I read every single one, I react to every single one, and I respond in due course to every single one. They really do mean the world to me when you guys get involved. And if you've liked the video as well, drop it that all important thumbs up. Let's me and let's YouTube know that these sort of videos are what's doing it for you, and keep making them. Above all else, folks, as I'll always say, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again for my next video. But bye for now. See ya.